Mr. Game Right, sir. Do you have a Wild West game for me to purchase?
Well, funny you should say that, because you've come to the right place, because we have Tales of the Old West.
Hello and welcome to our second letter from the Old West, where we are filming, like all of these letters from the Old West, in the wonderful ILARP Centre, which has created a kind of mock Old West town for LARPers. Our game isn't a LARP, but in this episode, we're going to be telling you about why we wanted to create an Old West themed tabletop RPG.
Absolutely. I'm Dave Seamark.
And I'm Matthew Tyler Jones.
And thank you again for tuning in. Yeah, let's go back 25 or 30 years. We'd always wanted to create a Wild West game that we would enjoy. One that we... what was that look on your face for?
25 years ago? I don't think we wanted to do it 25 years ago.
Something like that. 20 years ago. It was at least 25 years ago when I did that Wild West game, which was quite good, but we, you know. Anyway. However, we never found the game that we really wanted to play. So the attempts we made to homebrew our own ones were great, but something was missing. The games we played that we bought were really good games, but again, they were missing something important. So a few years ago, 5 years ago, inspired, I mean, by a number of things, but not least the fabulous TV series Deadwood, absolutely fabulous. We decided to create our own game, and we went to it again.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that inspired us was the Forbidden Lands role-playing game from Free League, of course, which uses the Year Zero system. And I remember pretty much exactly where I was on the street as I phoned up Dave. I was talking to him on the phone as I was walking somewhere, saying, you know, we should turn this game into a Wild West game. And actually, of course, the Deadwood thing happened very soon after that.
It did.
But to begin with, it was going to be kind of more Oregon Trail, and we were going to use the hex core mechanics of Forbidden Lands. But almost as soon as we sat down to think about it, we went, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do Deadwood, which is why we're here.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, there's definitely, there's definitely some fabulous games to be played along the lines of the Oregon Trail. And that's certainly something that, you know, we're not opposed to. But Tales of the Old West, as it stands, we're looking to kind of recreate the feel of Deadwood, focus it very much on the characters who will be living in that town, and create the game that we want to play. No aliens, no supernatural stuff, no tentacles, no Cthulhu, none of that.
No magic. No magic,
just nasty people and some good people doing their own thing and competing with each other in the West of the 1870s, which was a hard enough place as it was, without adding vampires and zombies to it.
But what I'm looking for, Mr. Gamewright, as we've discussed, is not a game with vampires and the supernatural in it, but one with I guess you could call it an element of historicity.
Well said. Say it again, go on. There
historicity.
Damn.
A certain, shall we say, verisimilitudinousness.
Well done, well done. I'm amazed that you got those words out. Yeah, absolutely. I think what we want to do is try and do make a recreation of the West of the 1870s that brings out a bit of the lived experience of the people who were actually there. We're not going to whitewash anything. We're not going to hide anything. By approaching the game in that way, the game is going to be gritty. It's going to be dangerous. If you draw your gun, be ready for the consequences, because getting shot or stabbed or beaten up in this game is risky. It's dangerous. But it's a land of opportunity. So many people flock to the West for the chance to start again, for the chance to make their fortunes, for the chance to live a life that they weren't living before. And we want to try and, we are bringing those elements to the game, giving you and your player characters the opportunities to do what you want, really, to try and create yourself the future that your character wants.
And I think that's really important because of some of the weight of actual history that is on this story. It's important to work out that wherever your character comes from, whatever gender they are, whatever race they are extraordinary, just as extraordinary as your other player characters. So you can do with your character, whatever their background, what that character wants.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the West makes you, so you go to the West. There's an interesting thing which we can talk about another time in more detail. But your character might have been something before they came to the West. They might have been, a criminal or a doctor or a sailor or an enslaved person or whatever. But when you come to the West, you are who you want to be. It doesn't matter what happened before. If you want to be, a lawman, you say, "Yeah, I was a sheriff back east." Nobody knows any difference until they find out you can't shoot. So you can be what you like. It's important that opportunity is there for the player characters to take.
And of course, in history, people who were murderers in one city were often sheriffs in another city on more than one occasion.
Absolutely.
So you get to remake yourself, I think.
Yes.
That's the biggest opportunity that the West provides. Now, we're not always going to get it right.
Yeah.
I think it's worth saying that we are just two guys from England who are trying to do this.
Yeah, I mean, we are. I mean, I'm a historian by training. I've had an enduring an enduring interest in the history of the Wild West my entire life, and we've done a lot of research. But we are amateur scholars. Whilst we've done everything we can to make things as accurate as possible and recreate the towns that we're going to put into the book as accurately as possible, there's going to be quite a lot of errors in there. So we apologise for that up front. Please, bear with us. We are doing our best. But I think we want to get the look and the feel right, rather than every single little bit of aspect of the history, and which street crossed which other street in whichever town it might be.
Whatever brings you to an Old West game, it's likely to be, well, we've already mentioned it ourselves, westerns such as Deadwood, fictions. Yes. And I'm a storyteller by profession, and we can't ignore the impact that Hollywood has had on the myth building of the Wild West. So yeah, there is a little element of that mythic Wild West as well in this game. Yeah,
I mean, the key thing for us is not to whitewash any of the bad history. Bad things happen in history across the world, across all of history. This isn't something that is unique to the Wild West by any means, obviously. But there is some bad stuff that happened in the Wild West. We don't want to hide from that. We don't want people to revel in it either, but we want people to understand it and perhaps learn a little bit about it. And if this isn't the intention of the game, but if somebody gains an inspiration to go and do some research of their own and read a few books and do some research, then great, that's brilliant. The more people who look into the actual history of these periods, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And if our little game can help inspire a bit of that, then that's I'm a happy man then.
Our work here will be done. A bit like this episode of Letter from the Old West.
So thank you for watching. If you haven't downloaded the Quick Draw already, then do so now. Go to www.effectpublishing.com, effect with a K, the Swedish way. Download the game and give it a play, and I hope you really enjoy it. We're confident that you probably will.
And look out for another Letter from the Old West coming soon. I guess in this wonderful setting, actually, we should say thank you once again to the managers of ILARP for letting us film here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.